Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is going to be today's reading. So whenever you find this, it'll be specifically for this day that you're watching. So the message coming through is that feeling of anticipation. You feel something's right around the corner. You know it's about to happen, but you're not sitting around waiting for it to happen. You're in a kind of state of flow where it's like one thing after another, but not in a negative way. You're doing the best you can to not feel overwhelmed. I feel like you've recently gone through something where you adjusted your own mindset so that you could handle more things because you wanted things to happen. You wanted things to change, and you knew you had to be able to handle that. It couldn't just be like in the past when you would get what you wanted, but then for some reason it would overwhelm you, or it would be too much to handle, or it would bring up so many fears that you would end up losing it. So you wanted to make sure you could keep the momentum so that if you attracted something you wanted into your life, you were able to hold it and keep it. And so you did what you had to do to get to the space where you would be able to do that, which is where you're at now. And like I said, you can feel like something's right around the corner. It's about to happen. And this at the garden gate, this is you, you're right there at the gate. You've already made it. It's just a matter of what's on the other side. But it's not something that you would have to go through this gate. It's like it's coming to you because you've kind of like how it's blocking her off. You've come as close or as far as you can, and now it's going to show itself to you. You're at the gate, you're at the door, you're knocking, and it's a matter of the other side opening up. And it's about to, and you can feel that. It's not a message telling you this. It's something you already know intuitively. And you're being asked to acknowledge the fact that you are now rooted in love and acting out of love versus fear, which you really were rooted in for your entire life. And so every decision you made, even if it seemed casual or if it seemed not scary, it still had a root in fear, and that was the driving force behind why you did what you did. You'll be seeing 222 a lot as confirmation. You could be seeing 4s, 5s, 0s, any of that. Also, you could be noticing the sun or flowers more, or anything that makes you think of like new birth, new life, that kind of spring, Easter type of energy, but it's happening sooner. It feels like it's coming. That thing where it's like there will be 2 more weeks of winter, like Groundhog Day. I think it already passed, and I don't know what the decision was on that, but it feels like spring is coming soon. Spring is coming early, like this energy of things happening not just on time, but before schedule. So like when you've ordered a package and it's like it'll get here between this day and this day, and then you check the next day and now it's getting here early. So it's that type of energy, like you're already expecting it. You already know it's coming soon, but now it's happening even sooner than expected. You could also find yourself at this time feeling like you're having a lot of thoughts, a lot of mental energy, maybe even a lot of mental clutter. Like it's hard to, maybe you just feel really overwhelmed. Like even thinking a small thought takes a lot of energy and it just feels chaotic. But this is clearing out, it's clearing itself out. There's nothing really more you have to do. Just, don't add to the stress by thinking there's something wrong or there's something you have to do when you've already done your role and your part. But as this chaos clears in the mind space, it will be left with new, fresh ideas that you will actually, this time around, have. Because I feel like you get new ideas often. You're very creative and intuitive, and so you're channeling ideas constantly. But it's about also having the means to make them happen. So you have to be able to have the desire to act on it and have the material to make it happen. And it's like now you have that. So now when you get these creative inspirations or these ideas as they're being revealed to you, you'll actually be able to form a plan and actually do that plan and maybe make adjustments along the way. But the point is, it's not like, oh, maybe that would be nice in the future. It's like, oh, I can start on that today. I can actually make that happen. I can actually see. So before you could only see like 1 or 2 steps ahead, but now you're being able to see a bit further. And so although you know that as much as you plan, things will always change and it will never go exactly like how you plan, and you know that, but you also know planning isn't completely useless, and it does give you a sense of guidance or direction of like, okay, what do I do next? What do I do next? And then you adjust it as necessary. I feel like you've done a lot of work in regards to your mindset and choosing to, like, at a time you could have been like, okay, I'm going to choose to focus on the good. And maybe there was just, the good was so small in comparison to everything else, and it was hard to feel like that was more important than everything else you had going on. But you knew that if you consciously focused on what was good or what was going your way, even if it was few and far between, that would attract more of that. And so you did that, and I feel like it took some time. It took some time to retrain your brain and to cause it to automatically focus on what's going right, what's working out, and kind of, I didn't mean to say dissociate, but dissociate came through, dissociate from the rest, from everything else that's going on, and just focus on, well, at least this thing's going right. At least this has improved. And I think there were things you were waiting on for so long, like you were stuck in a kind of, no matter what you did, you couldn't make certain things happen faster. So it was really beyond your control, and there was a lot of things that you had to wait a long time for. And I think in that, it could have caused you to feel like it will always be that way, and you'll always have to wait a long time for anything you want to happen. But now things are happening quicker, and it's really because you're, like I said before, you're not rooted in fear anymore. So fear has no power in these situations that you're manifesting. It doesn't have any say in it because it's not a factor in it. Because it came from love. It came from you warming up your heart, and that had gone cold or almost completely cold. And that doesn't mean that you were acting cold to others, but you just had this defensiveness and this coldness and this wall up for protection that you've slowly, it's like an ice wall that slowly melted one drop at a time, but now it's turned into a beautiful river, and it's like that frozen, cold, dead feeling of just being in limbo and just waiting and stuck, that's over. And now, you know, the sun's coming out, spring is here, it's getting warmer, everything that was stuck and frozen in time is now, it's like the play button has been pressed. I'm gonna roll the dice to see any additional messages for this day. So 7th house, Saturn, and Scorpio. So what I'm hearing from this is you've tamed the beast. So there was some type of beast inside you, and I feel like you'll know, for each person, you'll know kind of what I'm talking about for you specifically, but there was something that it was like you were able to tame it, and it was a part of yourself that you thought you would just always have to live with, or it would always be that way. And there's something about you taming this part of yourself, because people were reflecting that part back to you, that inner beast. And I don't mean in like a positive way of like your motivation or your strength. I mean more like this thing that you felt like was beyond your control, and maybe this dark entity, even whether you felt like it was part of you or not part of you, it was this part that, I mean, it was there to protect you, but that was still when you were living in that fear-based life, but you're not in that anymore. So this inner beast, it was able to be tamed as you started to root yourself in love. It retired, you could say. And so now all those people that were reflecting that beast back to you, and like it was triggering their inner beast or just triggering them to act kind of like the worst version of themselves to you, that's ending. So if you were thinking, why are people acting like this around me? Like, they seem normal with everyone else, but with me, they seem to act on their worst behavior. And it's true, they really were. But that's not gonna happen anymore. And you're gonna like expect to feel excited about all the relationships in your life. So maybe they started to feel like a burden or overwhelming, or just like, although you cared about the person, you just needed, it didn't feel right being around them. But now all these relationships, you're going to be getting the best version of these people instead of the worst. And that started with you. So now you're getting the best version of yourself, and that's what you're acting out of, that space of like your highest potential, your highest being. So I'm going to keep it there because I want to keep these around 10 minutes. But that is your message for today whenever you find this. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.